In today's video, we're gonna learn how to transition from one scene to another in 3D editing. A lot of people have commented that they were struggling with this particular phase of editing. So that's what I'm gonna share with you today. And before we begin, my name is Bart, I'm a video editor and I'm trying to improve video editing skills of people who are watching this channel. Also at the same time, I'm running The Editing Shift, which is a store which I designed for video editors. So if you're interested in spicing up your edits, then check out the description below. So we're in After Effects and I'm gonna show you the comp settings. Then I'm gonna drop 4 assets onto the timeline, which I generated with ChatGPT. So basically we got 2 backgrounds and then 2 characters. So for now I'm gonna delete background number 2 and man number 2, and we're just gonna work with these 2. Let me just reorder it. And the first thing I'm gonna do is probably add tint, just so everything is matching here as well. And now right away I'm gonna create a new camera. I'm gonna leave 2 node, 35mm preset, hit OK, OK again. Then we're gonna create a new null object, parent the camera to the null, and rename. Then we're gonna drag this underneath and change the color. I'm gonna turn on the 3D. And we're pretty much ready to set it up, so I'm gonna open up the second view and make sure you're in the custom view 1 to follow along. And right now what I'm gonna do is create separation between the character and the background. So I'm just gonna hit P for this layer and I'm gonna move it away. Then I'm gonna scale it up to fill out the whole frame. And also we can scale up the man so we don't really see his feet. We can also bump up the scale for the background because I feel like we're gonna move away. So now with Cam Control 1, like I said, we're just gonna drag the position backwards like that, create a keyframe for position, move forward, and we're just gonna create a simple movement going forward. Now I'm gonna select both, easy ease, go to the graph editor, and what I'm gonna do is just create a peak in the middle. So that's extremely slow, we just need to select the second keyframe and squeeze it in. Okay, let's see now. A bit better, but it's too sharp, so we're just gonna smooth it out. Now I feel like we could create extra text to add a little bit of depth, so I'm gonna type in editing, then change the text color to white. We're gonna also change the font, and we're gonna turn on the caps. I'm gonna bump up the font size, recenter, and we're gonna turn it into 3D. Let's put it behind the man, scale it up even a bit more, and let's see how it looks. Pretty cool. You could actually nicely fade it in. Should be fine. Alright, so we're pretty much set. It went extremely fast with the first scene. So now what I'm gonna do is grab the second background and also the second man and drop them right here. So now we're gonna reorder, and the whole idea with this is that I want to create a movement going towards the right. So for this we need to turn it into 3D, and we can actually zoom out here. And we're just gonna put everything towards the right, just like that. So now I'm gonna duplicate Cam Control 1, hit U, delete the last keyframe, parent 1 to 2. We're just gonna head over there, but before that I'm gonna hold shift, click R, keyframe rotation, and we're just gonna try to move towards the new assets. Something like that, maybe a little bit of Z, Y, X is not really necessary, so we're gonna delete it. So that's how it's looking. So now we need to select them all, easy ease, go to the graph editor, and we're just gonna again create a peak in the middle. If I fit the graph, that's how it's looking. Okay, so we got something. It's extremely slow, so we can actually make it a bit faster. And now we're just gonna select that man, and with rotation, I'm just gonna make him perfectly aligned. Then we're gonna grab the background, hit P, and we're just gonna move it away. So now I'm gonna scale it up, just like that. And also I'm gonna rotate it so it's perfectly aligned. So that's how it's looking, and as you can notice, we got a problem with the corner over here. So for this, what I'm gonna do is basically go to background number 1, add motion tile effect, and we're just gonna extend the width. I'm gonna check mirror edges, and now it's perfectly fine. So as for this character, I'm gonna scale him up, okay, and we're gonna put him a little bit lower, and also make the movement faster. So let's see what we got. Pretty cool. And we're gonna actually turn off the background number 1, and we'll try our best to set up this background. So the first thing we could do is probably move it away a little bit and scale it up, and then with Y rotation adjust. Okay, and then scale it up again just a little bit. And I can also see that we got a problem with the corner over there, so we also, just in case, are gonna add motion tile effect. Check mirror edges, and then we're gonna duplicate editing, and we're gonna put it behind that man, so we can copy the transform settings. So I'm just gonna go here, copy, and paste it to the second text. Little adjustment, and we're gonna scale it up and also change the text. I'm gonna type in shift. Alright, so let's see what we got so far. Let me just turn on the visibility. Okay, it's extremely stiff, so what we need to do is just overlap the keyframes even more. And then what I'm gonna do is head over to our background number 1, create a keyframe for opacity, and then we're gonna decrease it to 0%. So it's already looking way better. Now I'm gonna actually add the same keyframes for the man number 2. So we're just gonna keyframe opacity. If you hit T on the keyboard, you will find it, and just make it go from 0% to 100. Okay, pretty good. Let's just adjust the timing. I'm also gonna go to the second text, and I would like to fade it in around this time. Little adjustment for the timing. I'm gonna go to the first movement, and we're just gonna start it a bit faster. It's perfect, but we need to adjust what we've created before. So all of these 3 layers are gonna go somewhere here. It's all about small adjustments. As for this text, I'm just gonna fade it in a bit earlier. I'm gonna go to background number 1, and we're just gonna adjust these keyframes as well. Okay, pretty much perfect. And as for this man, I'm just gonna scale him up. It looks pretty sick. Alright, so at this point it's becoming way smoother. And now what we need to do is head over to the camera, regular procedure. I'm gonna alt click point of interest, type in wiggle, and just something subtle like 1,10. And also you can play around with this by adding a little bit of position to the man. So I'm just gonna quickly do that. Let's say we're gonna slide them in from the bottom. Okay, now we're just gonna ease the keyframes, go to the graph editor, and we're gonna create a peak on the left. I feel like I need to offset these keyframes for the text. Okay, way better now. And now just to keep the movement going, I'm gonna duplicate Cam Control 2, hit U, delete the last keyframes, and then we're gonna parent 2 to 3, and we're just gonna move a little bit backwards. Okay, I'm gonna go to the graph editor, select both, easy ease, and we're just gonna make a saddle peak. And just to add extra touch, I'm gonna right click, go to new, adjustment layer, add vignette, and let's see the whole thing. So basically whenever you're transitioning from one scene to another, it's all about setting up the keyframes for opacity. So if you offset them properly, you're gonna achieve amazing looks. So for example, here I'm seeing the mistake. So this text, if it faded out, it would look so much better. So it's basically passing by, but let's say we're gonna go here, we're gonna add keyframe for opacity, and at this position it's gonna fade out. And now it's way better in my opinion. Just gonna adjust it a bit. Also here you can notice that the first goes background, then the man, and then the text. So yeah, this is a pretty powerful technique. We could probably play around with this by adding deep glow to the text. I definitely need to change some settings over here. Okay, that's sick. So here we got the final result. Hopefully this was insightful, and without further ado, I'm gonna wrap it up here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers guys.